All right. So guys, we are continuing with reading the mp4 file, and we were working on the Ftype object. We said we want to get the content that is stored inside that object, and I hope that you do still remember that we are actually reading an mp4 file, showing you how to read an mp4 file, or how an mp4 file is structured, and how you can write a C# code that can actually be able to read and get a lot of information about a file. So on the Ftype, in this code, there are two properties that we have already read: the size and the name. The size tells us the overall size or the length of this box, and the name actually gives us the name, which will be composed of four characters, and it's going to be Ftype. So now the next thing to read here, it's the major brand. The major brand is a 4-byte. It's a 4-byte series. It's basically a series of 4-byte, where each byte contain a character that is part of the major brand. The major brand is basically a label that is going to identify the specification under which this file was created. The specification under which this file was created. Let's say when this file was created, we were looking at mp4 2. So that means we are going to get 4 characters: M, P, 4, and 2. Those are the 4 characters that we are going to get. And then we're also going to read minor brand. Minor brand, it's also 4-byte. It's an integer which would be identifying the smallest version of the major brand. For example, let's say the major brand of this file, mp4.2, again here, let's say it has 3 versions. So this file has been created with the 3rd version. Does that make sense? And the smallest version that can be able to make use of this file, it's the second version. The first version will not be able to make use of this file, because different specification which are identified using different labels may also come in different versions. And sometimes the changes between the versions of the same specification may break. For example, if you have 5 versions of the same specification, that does not mean that if you create a file with any of those specifications, your file will be able to be used by any media player that will be implementing any of those specifications. Then it is possible that some of the media players that implement the same specification but different version may not be able to make use of your file. So minor brand here will identify the smallest the smallest version of this major brand under which this file was created, that can be able to make use of this file. Does that make sense? So then after minor brand, we are going to read compatible brands, other brands that may also be able to make use of this file. There are different specifications to create the mp4 file, as much as there can be different versions of this specification. There are also different labels to identify different specification, and these different specification can also be compatible with each other. Does that make sense? So after we read the minor brand, we are going to read the other compatible brands. So now let's go and read the minor brand here. So minor brand, we're going to read from memory. We're going to say memory, or start with major brand actually, dot read. So we'll read into major brand. Major brand, we say start from 0 and take everything of major brand size or length. Does that make sense? Cool. After reading the major brand, then let's go and read the minor brand, the minor version of this brand, minor dot length. Now we have read the major brand, which is going to give us a 4-character name. Let's say major brand name. It starts with an empty string, and then we create a for, not a for each loop, we need a for loop. We say major brand dot length. Now we are going to concatenate all these characters that we get from, then we'll be converting them to character, major brand I. Cool. The next thing is the version of minor brand, and here we said it's an integer, int minor brand version. Then we say bit converter dot to int 32 dot to int 32. We want to we have to put minor brand starting from 0. Cool. Now it's going to give us the minor brand version. The minor brand version. That means it's going to give us the minor version of this major brand. Major brand, it's 4 characters, and then this one gives us the version of the minor version of that major brand. Cool. Now the next thing to read is other compatible brands. So now in order to read compatible brands, we actually going to have this of, and then say compatible brands is equals to new the series of byte here would be the size of this would be the size of this box as a whole, dot to int 32, and then we need to say size buffer. We already reversed it here. Remember, we said the size is stored in big endian. That means the highest byte comes last, and the lowest byte comes first. So when you read the size of any box, you're gonna have to reverse the order of those bytes before you convert, so that you get the correct numbers. So from 0. Okay, let's wait. Cannot implicitly to string. Wait a minute, what's going on? Size buffer. Oh, I see what I've done here. I see what I have done here. String, where Then the size, it's how many bytes. Then we have to look at the position of the memory stream dot position. So that means if we subtract the whole size of the box with the current position, we are going to be left with all the 4 bytes that will be defining the other compatible brands. And compatible brands, it's also individual labels which are also composed of four characters. That makes sense. So here we should be having a number that is divided by 4. Does that make sense? We'll check it. So now we do have these strings. We do have this series of strings of this size. So we're gonna have to divide it by 4. We say for compatible brands, compatible brands dot length divided by 4. Cool. Divided by 4. Now we go and say we say we have to declare byte, say brand, let's say brand is equals to new series of byte, which is 4 characters, and then we read into memory dot read into brand. Okay, brand dot length. Okay, then after reading so here we also have to add 4. Yeah, we also have to add 4. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Only assignment calls plus 4. Okay, so that it moves 4 byte. Now we need to move and say brand dot length. Okay, say string current brand string dot empty, then say current brand concatenate convert dot character convert dot to character from brand J, not cool. Now when you get here, you compatible brands dot compatible brands I is equals to current brand. Does that make sense? Cool. So then we go to Ftype dot compatible brands. Why? we need to come here and change it. We need to quickly come here. We did something wrong here. Compatible brands should be actually a series of string. Should be a series of strings. Compatible brands, yeah, is equals to compatible brands. That's it. So now we return this value. Now for testing purposes, we're going to put this here to see if we are able to get these compatible brands. So we call level boxes, and then we are going to call okay, right. So here we are going to call this method utility readers. This class, we're going to call it here, readers dot get ftype, and then we're going to read from cool.